Many of the legends agree that boxing is 90% mental, a struggle not against our opponent, but against the illusions we carry of our own invincibility. Only through the trials of fire, when vulnerabilities are exposed, does it strip us bare of pride, do we come to see our true selves, mortal yet unbroken. In that moment of reckoning, when fear and doubt press hardest, the ring becomes a mirror, forcing us to conflict what lies within, the will to endure, the courage to rise, and the quiet strength to continue forward. It is there in the acceptance of our fragility and the defiance to fight on despite it that we finally discover how great we truly are. Today, Devin Haney stands as one of the brightest figures in boxing's new era, often spoken of as part of the modern four kings, a generation of young fighters carrying the sport into the future. Haney's rise has been astronomical, from turning professional as a teenager to becoming a two-division world champion, including undisputed lightweight champion of the world. He has already achieved what many fighters spend a lifetime chasing. But as we all learn with fame, inevitably comes criticism. No blessing arrives without opinions, especially under the scrutinizing eye of the boxing choir. Much of the debate surrounding Devin Haney stems from his style inside of the ring. Haney is a defensive outboxer, highly technical, precise, and disciplined. Yet in a sport that glorifies aggression and knockouts, his calculated approach can sometimes be perceived as less thrilling. As an outboxer, Haney excels at distance management, controlling pace with a sharp jab and fluid movement, managing distance from the outside. Unlike brawlers who thrive on pressure and brutality, Haney is selective with his offense. He rarely overcommits to heavy combinations, instead striking only when the opportunity favors him. This often means subtle stretches of measured jabbing and maneuvering, a style built not for the spectacle of violence, but for efficiency. And it makes perfect sense. Haney's strength lies in speed, precision, and ring intelligence, not raw punching power. His approach is point-based. Stick and move, frustrate the opponent. But above all, Haney's defense is his hallmark. He is notoriously difficult to hit clean, pairing his reflexes with exceptional ring intelligence. He knows when to tie up, when to reset, and when to avoid unnecessary exchanges. This composure under fire is a rare trait, requiring immense discipline to stay committed to the gameplay no matter the circumstances. Still, one question has long shadowed his career. How durable was his chin truly? That doubt first cornered traction when Jorge Linares rocked him with a thunderous right hand, leaving Haney visibly shaken before the bell intervened. Even so, later in his bout against Lomachenko, there were moments where Haney appeared vulnerable, though many attributed his ability to withstand a storm to his size advantage at lightweight. Determined to silence the critics, Haney made the ball move to the 140-pound division, challenging two-time and then current WBC junior welterweight world champion Regis Prograis. The matchup was deliberate. Finally, Haney would face a dangerous puncher closer to his own size. Yet, as the fight unfolded, it became crystal clear Haney's technical abilities were worlds above the champion. He outclassed Prograis round after round, even scoring a clean knockdown in the third with a perfectly timed right cross. That moment sparked a new question amongst fans and analysts alike, with Devin Haney beginning to grow into his power. With momentum on his side, Haney decided to step it up again and set sights on Ryan Garcia, held by many as one of the other modern four kings. Not only was this a blockbuster matchup, it was perfectly timed. Both fighters in the mid-20s were considered to be in the physical primes. Although Garcia's record carried a single blemish, it came at the hands of Gervonta Davis. Yet many dismissed the loss, believing Ryan hadn't been at his best that night, drained by the weight cut and forced to compete below his optimal best. Haney and Garcia both matched evenly in size and speed, yet brought contrasting strengths to the ring. Haney, the clear favorite in technical abilities, while Garcia, the explosive puncher with the power to test Haney's still questionable chin. A question still lingering due to Haney's previous fight, as Prograis had only landed a mere 9.9% of his total punches, never truly pinning Haney's durability to the chopping block. This moment was telling, almost foreshadowing that decisions made in the present often stem from the lessons and experiences of the past. Haney was coming off one of his most flawless victories of his career, a dominant performance against a proven puncher in Prograis, even scoring a clean knockdown along the way. That kind of performance doesn't just build confidence, it feeds the ego. And when the ego goes unchecked, it can quietly reshape a fighter's mindset. For Haney, the shift will alter the trajectory of his career in ways he had yet to fully realize.
At all times, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
It took less than 40 seconds for Haney to feel the wrath of Ryan's trademark left hook. Shaken but composed, Haney quickly reverted to a strong point, controlling range with the disciplined jab. From there, the bout shifted into a tactical battle of control. Haney understood that Ryan's most dangerous weapon was the left hook, and he tailored his strategy around neutralizing it. His defensive reflexes were sharp enough to shut down the leading left hook, and by maintaining distance, he forced Ryan to rely on setting it up behind a jab. That, however, played directly into Haney's hands, as his counterpunching ability made him more than capable of containing the jab.
No shoulder roll, that's not what we do. And Ryan said, well, look, his complaint against Tank Davis and the fact that he had to cut down to 1/3 sharp jab, Devin.
And watching Ryan Garcia, he has one of the best.
The blueprint was straightforward. Control the tempo from the outside, disrupt Ryan's setup jab, and smother his offense when he closed the gap. With the foundation, Haney controlled the tempo of the fight, picking his moments to strike against Ryan's leaky defense. It became a calculated game of containment and ambush, one that Haney executed with precision.
His work cut out for him, our referee, the third man in the ring. Left hand from Haney!
And there's that shoulder roll.
Aside from the early left hook from Ryan, Haney appeared to be in firm control through the first half of the fight. Yet, as boxing so often reminds us, the opening 6 rounds could be somewhat of a formality, as the true fight doesn't often break out until the second half. That reality struck in the 7th with Ryan's left hook, sudden and merciless, detonating on Haney's jaw, hurling him to the canvas for the first time in his career. After that knockdown, the unraveling began for Haney. His jab vanished, his head movement dulled, and with no command of distance, Ryan freely walked into range. From mid-range, Garcia's jab became the trigger, setting up the left hook that now landed at will. Haney's defense, once a trusted shield, began to collapse under the weight of accumulated punishment. Built on reflex and timing, it faltered as his rhythm eroded, leaving him unable to respond with coherence.
Over to Harvey.
Give it to you. Keep taking it.
And Harvey does it as frequently as it needs to happen. Oh, he's got it once again! And down!
With no deterrent to halt Garcia, Haney stubbornly chose to hold his ground in the pocket. Ryan walked through whatever came his way, fully aware that Haney's power posed no threat. The result was brutal. 3 knockdowns, a sustained and violent beating. And yet, against all odds, Haney remained standing at the final bell, battered but unbroken. Ryan's initial victory over Haney didn't come without controversy, as the win quickly overshadowed by multiple setbacks. First, Ryan missed weight, and soon after, a failed drug test revealed the presence of ostarine in his system. Ostarine, one not a steroid, is a selective androgen receptor modulator, SARM, classified as a performance-enhancing drug. Its effects, ranging from increased muscle mass and strength to improve endurance and weight management, can significantly influence a boxer's performance inside the ring. Though its impact is less extreme than antibiotic steroids, ostarine still provides a decisive competitive edge, which is why it remains banned in professional boxing. In the final ruling, the result of the fight was overturned to a no contest, yet the wound cut deeper than the ruling, worn into flesh by the brutality of the battle, and into the mind by the shattering of an ego once convinced of its own invincibility.
Give the praise to Allah.
A year later, this became the most evident in Haney's comeback fight, a tune-up fight that was supposed to align a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Haney chose to return against former unified junior lightweight world champion Jose Ramirez, stepping up to 147 pounds. Ramirez, an aggressive pressure fighter, past his prime and fighting outside his natural weight, seemed the perfect opponent to allow Haney to steady himself and regain confidence. Odds makers reflected the expectation and stating Haney as a commanding -1200 favorite. Yet beneath the surface, the scores of his previous war revealed themselves. The shell shock was unmistakable. From the opening bell, it was clear that Haney intended to rely on movement, forcing Ramirez to find him in the ring. Ramirez, the natural pressure fighter, needed to trap Haney to unload his offense. In matchups like this, the rhythm often becomes a game of cat and mouse, sticking and moving, forcing an aggressor to seize fleeting moments to engage in meaningful exchanges. Or at least, that's the expectation. True to form, Haney worked behind his jab, but unlike his bout with Ryan Garcia, he deliberately avoided prolonged exchanges in a pocket. Instead, he disrupted Ramirez's rhythm, preventing him from setting his feet, then ambushed with quick 1-2s before circling out and resetting. The strategy wasn't crowd-pleasing, but it was effective. Ramirez's footwork lagged behind, and he consistently found himself a step too late. As long as Haney kept moving, Ramirez remained in pursuit, never quite in range to make his pressure count. Haney ultimately cruised to a wide, unanimous decision, though not without criticism. Many observers felt he fought too cautiously against an opponent who lacked one-punch power. Statistically, Haney threw just 224 punches total, averaging 18.6 punches per round, well below the welterweight average of 55 to 65 punches per round. That's about 650 to 750 punches per fight. Defensively, however, Haney completely neutralized Ramirez, holding him to just 40 punches landed at a mere 14.3% accuracy rate. There's no refuge from scrutiny when one stands beneath the bright lights. The higher the crown, the heavier the gaze. Every flaw magnified, such as the cost of being hailed as a king of a generation. Yet within that relentless examination lies a choice: to resist the noise, or to let it become the fire that tempers greatness. Critics may attempt to diminish his name or dismiss his craft, but one truth remains: Haney doesn't retreat from the unknown. The questions that surround him, whether he still possesses the edge, the chin, the will, are not burdens he avoids, but mirrors he confronts. He now aligns himself with doubt, not to escape it, but to transcend it.